Hello everyone, this is my third attempt today to do Puzzle Rush without a time limit, where I explain all the puzzles. I just finished my second one where I got 25 correct. This is without a time limit. The video was about 30 minutes long because that included explanations of the puzzles, and I had one mouse slip right here and two that I got incorrect. So I'm gonna try and beat it. My record is 39 without a timer. So let's go ahead and get started. So, okay. All right. I have my menu in Spanish, but yeah. Okay. No time limit. Okay. So the first few puzzles are easy. Check wins the rook in the corner. Or that was checkmate, actually. So I win the king. It was checkmate. The king had nowhere to go. Either way, it was the right move. Okay. Free rook in the corner. Free rook. Yeah. All right, back rank May, as you've seen before. These first few are usually pretty easy. Sack the queen for the back rank checkmate. Okay. I'm in check, so this is more of a... Oh, okay. It's check, but when I block the check, I'm also giving my own check and forking the queen. That forces the queens off the board, and my 3 pawns will win over 2 pawns because this pawn is passed. My king will come around and support. Boom, 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 and eventually support it to get another queen. So this is the right move. Get the queens off the board because I already have a winning position. Yeah. Okay, this bishop controls that square, so the rook comes up, and this is pinned. The queen cannot move out of the way because it's check. So the queen has to take my rook, and then I will take the queen for a rook. Okay, this is checkmate, I believe. Nope. Check. King moves here. Knight goes here, and that's mate. Yes, I think. Check. He only has one square he can go to. Check. Yep, that's it. Mate and 2. Check. Mate. Okay. Okay. Pawn takes pawn. Discover to check. And then my rook will eat the queen once he gets out of check. Okay. Queen takes pawn is checkmate. It's defended by the knight. Okay. My knight's under attack. I can trade the knights. He just takes back. Ah! Nope, I can't do it. I was like, I want to pin the... But I can't take. He'll just take it. Checkmate. Okay, so... Plus he can take with the pawn as well. Okay, it's a fork. My queen can come and take this pawn, defending my knight. No, not defending my knight, because it's attacked twice. But if queen comes here, I'm threatening to win this with check. And if he takes, then I take check, and I win the rook in the corner. So if I go here, even if he wins this, even if he takes this knight, for example, he's up a knight, but then I get the knight back. Oops. So I take pawn. If he wants to take this piece, I take the piece back with check, starting to win another piece. So he has to take me, and then my queen takes, and it's check, and I win the rook in the corner. Let's do that one more time. Takes. He either takes with either piece. Check. He takes back. Check. King moves out of the way or blocks if the queen is still there. Either way, I win the rook in the corner. Okay. Oh, it didn't even require me to do the whole thing. But it seemed like a more complicated puzzle. Okay. This is check. And if he takes, I win the queen for a rook, and my queen's no longer in danger. But if he decides to move his king out of the way, if I take his queen, he can take my queen, but then I get his rook afterwards. So I win a rook. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Okay, I can take his queen, but then he can take my queen. So I can move my queen out of the way with check. Once he responds, I eat the queen. Plus I get a knight afterwards. Neat. Okay. Check. No, that's not check. Oh, yeah, rook and take check. Yeah, rook and take check. He has to move in the corner, and then knight takes checkmate. Yeah. Hmm. Ooh. First I saw rook sacrifice. If he takes with pawn, I have queen checkmate in the corner, but he doesn't have to take with that pawn. He can take with this pawn. And then I have nothing. Oh, okay, it's mate in two. My queen goes here, check. He goes here, and I have checkmate. Or if he blocks with a pawn, queen takes anyway, checkmate. Boom, boom. Okay. Okay. I have a lot going on this pawn right here. The queen and the bishop are a battery, and I have a knight here. So I think, yeah, knight takes knight, attacking the queen. If he doesn't want to lose the knight, he has to take, and then this pawn is no longer defending this pawn. Then I can sacrifice, and if he takes back, queen can take check, and then the king has to move in the corner, and then I have checkmate. And if he doesn't take, then I'm also attacking his rook, and the rook's trapped. So that has to be it. Boom, 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 boom. Yep. Ooh, this one's interesting. Okay. So if this bishop moves out of the way, then I can take the queen. The queen's undefended, but I need to do it with check. If I don't do it with check, then the queen can move out of the way. So I sacrifice a rook for a knight, check. He takes back. I sacrifice a second piece, check. He takes back with either piece, and I win the queen. And the queen is better than a rook and a bishop, slightly better. So that has to be it. Yep. Okay, he's directly in the path of my bishop, so my rook can move out of the way, check. I can do double check, but that doesn't lead to a checkmate. So I can just move back, check, and win the rook. That's probably it. I don't see. Yeah, the double check. King moves in the corner. I have no checkmate. My bishop's on the wrong color. Oh, yeah, but I'm also taking it with check. No, yes, because he's about to get a queen. So check. King moves either direction. I take with check. How do I stop this queen? I have to have a checkmate of my own because winning a rook isn't good enough if he's gonna get an extra queen. But I'm winning it with check. So check. He goes here. I take check. Oh, that's mate. If he walks directly in front of my king, that's checkmate. So he cannot walk here. That's suicide when I take his mate. So he has to walk in the corner. Check. In the corner. I take anyways. Check. He moves down. Then my bishop comes here. Check. He has to move here. And then it's directly an opposition to my king as well. Okay. So the rook can come over. Checkmate. Woo! That was a little complicated. Let's do that again. Check. This is suicide because of checkmate. So check. Because like I said, it's checked by the bishop. Okay. Check. King was in the corner. I take check. He has to move down. Bishop check. He has to move down again. Rook over checkmate. And he never gets a chance to get this queen. I rule. And it didn't force me to finish it out. But that's what would have happened. Okay. So he moved bishop here. Huh. Okay. I can move queen here. And this is threatening checkmate and threatening the rook at the same time. He can stop the checkmate, but at the cost of the rook. Yeah. Woohoo! Okay. Interesting. If I take, he takes, I give check, and then win the bishop. It's check, and I'm attacking the bishop on this square. Is that the... oh, no. Well, yeah. And he doesn't have a checkmate afterwards, because my knight can block the checkmate. And then when all that's done, or, because yeah, I can't go here. Oh, I can go there. There's that too. He can't take because he can take because if I get a queen, then his queen kills my new queen. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Takes, check, and I win the bishop. Yep. Yeah, you always gotta be careful of your back rank checkmates. Sometimes if you have a beautiful combination that wins a piece, but then they have checkmate the next move. So your back rank is important. Give Luft for your king. If your king is blocked by your pawns, a rook or a queen can come down for checkmate. Okay. I want to go here, forking the king and the queen, but there's a rook. There's a rook that'll stop me. I'd love to sacrifice it, but then it's no longer a fork. Ah! Take this knight. If he checks me, no big deal. I can escape. So I take this knight. If he doesn't want to lose the knight, he's got to take my rook. That allows me to move my knight over here. Discovered check, because the pawn's no longer there, and then I can pick off the queen. Yep. Yep. Okay. Same concept. Ooh, isn't it interesting? Oh, this is beautiful. I saw it immediately, though. Okay, so if I take this knight, I'm sacrificing a queen for a knight temporarily. They're called pseudo-sacrifices. They're pseudo-sacrifices. It's not a real sacrifice if you can see the future and know you're going to get it back, plus more. That's more of an investment, but not even an investment, because in business, investments are not always guaranteed. But in chess, if you can see the calculation, it's always guaranteed if you know what's going to happen. In chess, you can see the future. The better you get at chess, the more you can see into the future. Okay, so I take, he takes back, and then my knight forks the king and queen. So the king moves out of the way, and I get my queen back. So basically, I just won a knight. Is there anything better? No, because my queen's under attack. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, if I trade queens, it gets the king away. Rook comes up, check. He can escape here. If once my rook comes up, check. King can move back, no big deal. Ah! Remove the defender of the queen. So rook up, check. King, rook takes. So it looks like a sacrifice here, rook, but then the rook comes up, check. And the king cannot take, or my queen. I get the queen for well, not for free, because I sacked a rook to win a queen. So then he has to come down instead. And then the rook comes down, check. And either way, if he eats it, I get the queen, or if the king moves out of the way, either way, I win the queen for a rook. Boom. I'm gonna boom. Boom. Okay. Check. He has to take, and then I take again. Check, winning the queen for a rook and a bishop. Slightly better. Anything else? I don't think so. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Huh. That's just a free piece, it looks like. Plus, I'm attacking the rook and guarding this diagonal, so I'm actually threatening checkmate. Do I just take the piece? And then he'll have to stop the mate and save the rook and save them by moving his rook up. And I just want a piece. Did he take something? I didn't see. Oh, yeah, he took my knight. So if I take back... Ah, the move order. Take here, threatening checkmate, and his rook just stops the mate. So I do it in reverse. Rook up, check. The king has to come down. He can't block anymore. He just loses the rook. Plus the knight. King moves down. Bishop takes, check. Forking the king and the rook, and then I win both pieces. So it was the move order. Move order does matter in chess. Boom. Oh, he decided to block. But like I said, if he didn't, it's the same result. Check. Okay, it just happened in a different order. I still win both pieces. Sometimes I get puzzles wrong because of the move order. I have the right idea. I just don't execute it, or I move too hastily. Okay. He's threatening my queen. I could take though, because if he takes back, I take queen. Takes back. I'm winning 2 rooks for a queen. And that's usually slightly better. 2 rooks for a queen, almost equal, or the 2 rooks are considered slightly better, but... Okay, takes, 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 takes. I think that's it. Oh yeah. Then my bishop can pick off this bishop here undefended. Let's do it. Boom. 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 I see an interesting way to expose the king. Knight here, check. It's forking the king and the queen, so he has to take. My bishop can then take back. In this diagonal, these squares are so weak, my queen can come up and invade for checkmate. It's an idea. It might be too slow. We might be able to stop it. Check, takes, takes. Yeah, he can push pawn up or something. But I can still get around, but it takes a long time. Ah, well, I was thinking about stacking the pawn. Remove the defender. Take the pawn, he takes back. Queen up, check. He has to move. If he moves in the corner, if he moves to if he moves to C1. No, I don't have checkmate in the corner because he can block with the knight. Okay, these are getting harder. Ah, well, it's maybe the order. I still do this, but instead of taking with bishop immediately, I do the queen up first. Maybe? Nah, he can block the diagonal. If you're going to sack a piece, you want to get something for it. Checkmate or win more than what you sacrificed. Okay, takes, bishop takes. Ah, no. This knight's well defended. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay. Oh, I found. Okay, I don't know if this counts. Bishop takes, king takes. The knight can go in here, and I'm forking the queen and the rook. But I'm just winning a knight. I'm winning a rook and a pawn for a knight and a bishop. It's about equal. Although it does expose his king a little bit, but I don't think it's it. I don't see it. Oh, I take with queen instead. Stupid me. Oh, jeez. Knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and then I have a battery. I have a queen and a bishop on this same diagonal. I'm threatening checkmate here. So if the queen's here, okay, if the queen is here now, I'm threatening checkmate here or here. And there's no defense. Yep, that's it. Queen goes. Yeah, there's nothing he can do. He can't stop both checkmating squares since I have two of them to choose from. He can only stop one. Boom. Oh, he chose. Okay. So he chose not to take because of the checkmate. So I win the queen. Yeah. Win the queen or win the king. Either way is fine with me. It's a rock and a hard place. Hmm. Ooh. Let's see. Smothered mate. Sweet. Rook sack. Check. The queen has to take, and the king is trapped by his own pieces. The knight comes for the lonely checkmate. They call that a smothered mate when a knight suffocates a trapped king. Back ranks, back ranks. No, no back rank, check, because the queen and the rook defend the same square. Rook can just come back. So I can. Oh, and I have to give checks because this rook down here, he's threatening checkmate. He's threatening checkmate, so I have to give checks. Of course. And the only other check is to take the bishop. Oh, I'm getting tired. Is to take the bishop. Take the bishop check. If he takes the pawn, then I can move check and pick off the rook, because I'll be, yeah. If knight takes, pawn takes, queen check also attacks the rook. I win a rook. And if he doesn't, and if he takes a queen instead, now he no longer has two squares controlling the back row. My queen can do the back rank checkmate. Check. Rook has to block, and queen takes rook mate. So either way, I either win by checkmate or I win a rook. Yep. Check and win the rook. Just double checking. Yep. Win the rook. All right, that was a little tricky. They're getting harder. But no strikes yet. No strikes yet. Okay. I'm still alive. And I hope you guys find this video instructional, those of you who have been listening so far. Can teach you. I'm only a Class B player in the United States. I have a 1634 USCF rating. And so not even a Class A player, not even an expert. But I'm very good at tactics. I think my tactics skill level is expert level or better. But my overall rating as far as wins, because when it comes to your real rating in tournaments, all they care about is wins, losses, and draws. So sometimes I lose to lower rated players, even though my tactics are better. If I make one stupid move, they win. Especially these games that last 4 hours. It's a marathon. Okay. Okay, so I see the back rank mate here. Okay, queen sack. Pawn cannot take because I will have back rank checkmate. Queen blocks, I take. It's checkmate. Therefore, I'm just winning. I'm straight up winning a knight. That has to be the answer. And so he doesn't take, and therefore I've won a knight. And he chose to move here for some reason. So I still have my back rank checkmate. He could have stopped the checkmate, and then I'd just be up a knight. But he made, yeah, they don't. Oh no, this is fine. I'm in check, and my queen's under attack. So the only way to save both is to move the queen here. Safe and sound. I just won a knight. Cool. Okay. Queen has to either come here or here for check. No. If it goes here, that's checkmate. The only other safe square, the only other square that the queen does control is this one, and it's controlled by a pawn. It's just mate in one. Yep. Sometimes they throw a mate in one. You're looking for mates in 4 or 5, and it's really a mate. You know, they give you a simple puzzle every once in a while, just to see if you're paying attention. Okay. Ooh. Queen could come up check. And if he eats this pawn, I don't promote to a queen. I promote to a knight because it attacks the king and the queen. And then he'll eat my knight, and then it's queen versus knight. It's game over. I'd rather do that than have 2 queens versus 1. I can get another queen and 2 queens versus 1. I can probably still win, but this is more straightforward. Is to under promote to a knight, and it's rare. But he doesn't have to take the pawn. So if I go here check, and he doesn't take the pawn, but instead, well, he has to block then, because anywhere else I promote with a queen with check. Or if he moves here, I still promote with knight, checks the king and queen. And if he goes here, I'll just get a second queen with check. And he's in big trouble after I hit the pair of queens off, and I have an extra queen. So then he has to block. If he goes here, I still promote with check. So he has to block. Okay, so my queen is here. King blocks. Huh. Queen goes here, check. He has to, yep. And then he has to move off the square, and then I promote with check. Yeah. I wanted to let me do the knight promotion. Yep, he took it. I'm going to get a knight. Europe. So cool. Almost never promote to a knight. I want to do it someday in a real game. It's so rare to win a knight versus a queen. You have to have a special tactic. It's usually with check if you're going to promote to a knight. Okay, 30 without an error. 30 minutes, 30 problems. My instinct is to check with the bishop. And I got 2 lasers on the king. Oh no, he can take. And if he takes, I just take back, no big deal. Remove the defender. Take, then check. He doesn't want to block with the queen, so he's going to have. Yeah. So if I remove the defender, then I have 2 lasers, one here and one with the bishop here. So he's going to have to move here. Ah! And then my queen can move into the corner, check. And then when the king moves out of the way or something, I can pick off the rook. So it's a pseudo-sacrifice. Remove the defender. Check. Do I have a better check? This wins the rook. Yeah, I don't have a better check. I was thinking here, check. But the queen's protecting that square. Yep. Boom. And I win the rook. Okay. Okay, check. King here. I don't have mate because the rook protects the mating square. Huh. Ah, okay. So I have a different mating square. Check. King moves here. Queen up. Checkmate. I'm on a roll here. I might break my record. I haven't got a single strike yet, but they're going to get really hard soon. Okay. Okay. Check automatically wins the rook in the corner. But is there something better? Check. King moves. Nope, I don't have another check here. There's a pawn stopping it. There's no way that they put that easy of a puzzle for number 33. Or is it? Because, oh, yeah, after I take this. No, this rook is defended by my queen, so he can't take it. He has a check, but no big deal. I have an escape square. No checkmate for him. Can it really be that easy? I'm having doubts. I'm having doubts that, check. King's out of the way. It's a free rook. I like free rooks. It has to be I don't see any way to trap his queen. I'm doing it. Yep. No, it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I had a feeling. I had a feeling. There was probably a checkmate or something better. I knew it was too easy and too good to be true. There was something better. The first move was right, so then I assumed the second move was right. Urgh. Okay. Okay. If I move pawn here, attacking his queen, also discovered attack on this bishop. And if he takes my queen, I take his queen, and it's also attacking the rook. And so when the rook moves to safety, I pick up the bishop. My king structure is damaged, but it's worth it for a free piece, especially when the queens get off the board. So, boom. Boom. Oh, there's an extra move. I thought it was going to be over. It means I was right so far, but there was more to it. Now here, I guess my queen just moves to safety. No big deal. And the only safe square is here. So back where you came. Yep. Okay. Ooh, I just realized my rook is pinned. I was debating like going here check, but that's illegal. I can't put my king in danger. Hmm. And taking the rook, that just allows him to do it with check. Well, this is hard. I'm in a pin. How do I get out of it? Okay, I'm noticing a knight fork here, but he can take it. He can take it though. Sometimes it's like and I can't threaten his queen because he'll just take with check, and then I am not allowed to take his queen because I'm in check. What? Now the queen is defended by a bishop, but I don't want to lose a queen for a rook. What if I move rook here, attacking the queen? He takes with check. I take back. And then if the queen moves out of the way, I'm attacking this. But and if I'm allowed, yeah, the queen moves out of the way, like take this knight for example, and the rook comes up check. He has to move here, and then my rook can come down discovered check because of the bishop picking off the queen, getting my queen back essentially. And then I won the rook for the knight. But I go here, he takes check, I take. If he wants to go here, check. Ah, I can block with the rook. And the queen's under attack. But then he can take this rook. Oh man, I need both rooks for the attack. If I'm gonna lose my queen, I need both rooks for the attack. Here, 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 here. Okay. So then I don't block with this rook. I block with this rook, so I don't lose it. It attacks the queen. The queen's in danger. Plus, I have this huge attack with the bishop and the rook. So if he doesn't want to lose his queen, he's going to have to take my knight, and then I have a huge threat. Yep, that's it. Yep. Yep. Wow, that one was not easy. Okay. Take check, followed by taking the rook in the corner. Ooh, but there's a better move. Yeah, the move order. The move order matters. I could take with check, and then I do win a rook. It's a lot of material. But if I do reverse order, take the rook, and if he takes the bishop, I take bishop check, followed by king goes here, and then rook here is checkmate. So I take rook, and I'm still threatening to win the queen. And in fact, I'm threatening to win the rook anyway, because the queen can't take because it's pinned to the bishop. Yeah, rook takes rook. He took. Check. Checkmate. All right. Easier than the last one. Hopefully I'll be, this is 40 minutes though, hopefully this will be no longer than an hour. 2 more strikes and I'm out. And my record's 39 without a time limit, so let's see if I can break my record. I've been practicing tactics a lot, so. Okay, this knight's pinned. I was thinking about moving it here to threaten checkmate, but it's pinned to the king. And if I go check, king moves down. District in the core is undefended. Just take it for free. A lot of these puzzles seem to have like easy and just pieces that are hanging. Those are like the beginner puzzles where it's just, oh, free piece, that's it, that's the puzzle. It's not complicated. It's not a sequence of moves. If I take the rook in the corner, I am threatening to move to the back row with either rook, probably that rook. It's a free rook either way. What did he take? Okay, so knight here. Oh, I'm in check. I'm in check, so I can't take the rook. What I can do, if I remove the defender, because then I'm also threatening to win this rook and this rook. So if I take knight and he takes rook, I take rook and I'm up a rook, or up a knight actually. And if the move order is different, if I take here and he takes back with the rook, once again, I still win the rook back and I'm up a knight. I think it still works, but if he takes with pawn, he's attacking my knight that's also pinned to the king. But I think it's still the correct move. I take, pawn takes is best for him. I take rook. He takes knight. And I can take back. In the end, I have won a knight, a pawn, and a rook for for a knight and a pawn. Okay, a knight and a rook. So in the end, I only won a pawn. This might be a defense puzzle, though. Since I'm in check, it's a defense puzzle. I win a pawn and I get out of here because any other option, like me moving my king, I lose a rook. Okay. So I have to. Yep. Oh, he chose a different method. Check. I'll just take. Do I take with pawn? Oh. Does it matter? This undoubles my pawns. And then he can take my rook. Oh, my other rook is hanging too. This is complicated. I'm in check though, so okay, do not take with the king. Because then when he takes, it's check. And then I get out of check and lose my rook. So definitely take with a pawn. Yeah. Woo! That one I didn't see the solution all the way through, but I saw like 80, 90%. And sometimes seeing 80 or 90% of the puzzle and it happens to be correct, it's like, oh, there's a little more. But now I can just see the extra move or two. So it's a little bit of luck. Excuse me. No, this one's okay. I was gonna say check and win the queen, but the queen's defended. So Might still be a sacrifice just to get the king out in the open, but I don't take the queen. I check, takes, maybe queen up, check. Then he blocks. He can block with the rook. Bishop here, attacking the queen. Then he has check. I move up, and then he, yeah. They're getting harder. But my tactics rating, if assuming this is the same system they use for Puzzle Rush as they do for the look here, the problems, just regular tactics trainer, where you have a rating that goes up or down. Each problem is assigned a difficulty. So I'm doing puzzles in the 17 to 2000 plus. So they're getting a lot more harder. I don't see it. Oh, man, no. I was like, I can threaten checkmate, but then he can just take my bishop. Ah, better checkmate. Don't threaten checkmate here. Threaten checkmate here because it attacks the rook. So if I threaten checkmate here, threatening checkmate, if he takes my bishop, I take the rook and get checkmate anyway. So he doesn't take my bishop. What does he do? He has to defend. Yeah, the queen can't move far because the queen has to protect the rook. The queen can't come over here to stop the mate because then I win the rook and win the game anyway. So this has to be the first move. He's going to have to block with the rook, I think, which allows me to... Ah, yes. Ooh, he blocks with the rook, and then the queen... damn it! I was like, then the queen's no longer defended, so then I can do the discovered attack check, and no, and pick off the queen, but that's wrong because my queen is right here. Okay, this has to be the first move. Check. Not check, I'm sorry. I'm also threatening checkmate with the bishop. Queen, yeah, queen can take checkmate, but the bishop can also take checkmate. So can he stop both? Queen here. Yeah, rook can't come down because then I move up mate. So the rook has to block. Queen here. Rook blocks. Is this where my other bishop comes into play and moves where the queen was? Then I'm threatening checkmate by taking the rook? I think so. And if he wants to give me a spite check, check. My bishop is still here. So as long as my bishop's still here, it defends this pawn. Because I don't want him check, followed by taking this pawn. So as long as my bishop stays here. So here, blocks. Yeah, I'm threatening two types of checkmates. The rook stops both. So I create a new checkmate. And there's no defense. Yeah, there's no defense. And if he checks me, I move up. And then he just moves back and checks me again. And then I move. This is a lot. Then I can block with a pawn, or I can move my king out here. And the only reason to move the king out here is, you can still knight and sacrifice for the check. I want to avoid I want to get out of all the possible checks. He can't stop my checkmate, so he's going to continuously try to check me, perpetual check me for a draw. So I have to escape all the checks. All right, queen here, rook blocks, bishop here to threaten mate, queen down check. I have to move up. I'm not going to move the bishop back because I need that for the checkmate. So king up, queen back up, checking my king. My new king is right here. I think just pawn up, blocking, attacking the queen. Oh, no. You can come here, check. I can't. This is so hard. I have to escape all the checks. I have my checkmate. I just have to escape all the checks, and then there's nothing he can do. Okay, I have to keep starting. This is my thought process when I'm playing in a tournament game, except I don't have arrows and squares to highlight. And so I have to do it all by memory. And if I lose track of the pieces, I lose concentration for a split second. I have to do the whole sequence in my head again, and then I'm losing time on my clock. So let's see if that's okay. All right. So I know where my white pieces are. My bishop is where the queen is, and my queen is over here, just to avoid all the extra arrows that are confusing me. Okay. And his rook is over here. So if he comes down check, I move up. He comes back up again, check. I block with pawn. He comes over here, check, because the pawn's longer there. And then I can retreat back. And he has no more checks. No more checks that matter. He can't take the pawn. Well, the pawn's not here anymore, but he can't move here because my bishop will kill the queen. And then the checkmate stopped. Or the checkmate's not stopped, but I won a queen. That's good enough to win the game. I think that's it. I'm going to be embarrassed. Not embarrassed, but all that analyzing for nothing if it's wrong. Okay, let's do this. Yep, rook there. Bishop here. Yep, the spike check. I go up. Oh, that was it. I analyzed further than the puzzle needed me to. I rule. I want to beat my record of 39, so I need 3 more. 3 more to get to 40 without getting too wrong. But they're getting really hard. I'm about to hit an hour, but as long as the video, however long the video is, however long the video is. Huh. What do I do here? Black to move. Okay, the knight goes here, preparing the rook to come here. Because if it goes here instead, he can just attack it. Over here it's shielded by his own pawn. He can't attack it. Here, Or knight here, because it prevents, yep, moving the knight here because it guards this square. If the knight's here, it guards this square, the rook guards all these squares, and the king guards these squares. So I'm threatening, if I move, oh god, that was a mouse slip. Son of a bitch. I was trying to get rid of the arrows and it moved the piece. I gotta be careful. I did this in the last video too. We'll see if I had it right or not in the end. Okay. Well, mouse slips are part of the game when you're playing on a computer. Okay. Rook takes. Bishop takes. Queen moves up. Threatening mate. But he can move pawn and then the queen and the rook are defending. Take the bishop immediately. Threatening mate. Did he take a piece? Yeah, he took a piece. Take back, threaten mate. Oh, he's also threatening to penetrate here with check. And then I gotta move out of the way. I probably should have all checks. He's also, yeah, if I don't move my queen, he's gonna check and win my queen. Huh. Alright, so rook takes check. Bishop takes. Pawn up. Pawn up to prevent this pawn from coming down. I might not break my record, stupid mouse slip. Next strike, I'm out. Or if I take this, I am threatening mate. If he wants to check me, I move king out of the way. And actually, he's got nothing after that. He's invading, but these two rooks defend the back row. So if I'm threatening mate, he can do this check. I move out of the way. And then he still has to deal with my checkmate threat. If I don't like that, he can push his pawn. So I think I sacrifice check, because check. He takes. And I push my own pawn. And with plans for the queen to come up and scoop up from mate, he can no longer defend, I think. Okay. Check. Takes. I don't threaten mate immediately with the queen because he can stop it, so I push pawn. But then he can get the queen back, I think. I think I'm gonna get this one wrong. I'm gonna try it. Yep. Alright, well, let's see. We're at an hour now. Let's go ahead and check the ones I got wrong. So, let's do the mouse slip first. So the plan was to move here. It was wrong as well. Because here, I'm threatening checkmate. But it's still the wrong move. Okay, well, I would have gotten it wrong either way. So, I'm not so mad about my mouse slip. What is the correct answer? Okay. I have no idea. Go here like I thought. No. One more guess and I'm going to go for a hint. Okay. Going here also allows the opportunity for the rook mate. Why does it matter where the knight goes? Here, I'm trying to think. Okay, what is it here then? No, all of these are wrong. Okay, it has nothing to do with the knight and then threatening checkmate. All right, I don't know. Clue? Oh, I thought that was. I dismissed this one because the rook can just eat it. Yeah, the rook eats it. Ah! But the only thing defending the rook now is the king. So check. He has to move out of the way, and I just want a rook for a knight. Then these pawns are going to fall. Oh, man. Oh, at least I feel better. Because my mouse slipped, it wouldn't have mattered. I would have gotten it wrong. That was the middle one. That was the hard. Okay, so the first one I got wrong. The first move was correct. But do not take the rook in the corner. There's a better move. Is there a mate somewhere? Ah, yes, there was. Queen here, checkmate. Or about to be checkmate. Check. And then queen up. Oh, nope. Queen here. Queen here, checkmate. That was it was a mate in 3 instead of taking the rook. That was the easy one that I should have figured out. Easy-ish. But I got hasty. Yeah. And finally, the last one. And I had no idea. This was wrong. So it's probably take the bishop. Yeah. He blocks the mate. But yeah, I didn't consider that. It blocks the mate, but I can still take the pawn anyway because it's pinned to the king. So do I take the pawn? Or, nope, nope, nope. Rook check. And I win the queen for a rook. No check. Yep. Yeah, that was it. Ah, man, it seems easier in hindsight. Okay, well, that was an hour-long video. I got to, how many did I get to? 37. My record's 39 without a timer. But I explained all the problems. I hope you guys learned. And send me some comments of what you thought. All right, I'd appreciate it. All right, this is Brandon, a good one, signing out. Peace.